Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Fashion Experiment. It's Dr. Bridget, your professor of all things fashion. And in today's video, I'm going to be continuing what I'm calling a series on insights. So my last video, I offered insights on the 2022 consumer. And today's video is insights on the retailing industry for 2022. And there's lots happening as always. So I'm excited to share, what is trending in regards to retailing and how consumers are consuming and acquiring products and services. So all of the forecasting information I share comes from the forecasting company, WGSN, and they have lots of information on the vast span of all that is retailing. It's not just fashion products, it's cosmetics, interiors, automobiles, technology, and electronics, which is merged with retailing now, as you'll see in today's lesson. So these are some of the key forecasts for what's happening in retailing that I'm going to discuss today. The Metaverse, our supply chain crisis that occurred because of COVID, the resale boom, and then the return of the store are the major themes that are highlighted for retailing trends. So the first thing I want to do is share just some background information so that you can understand what happened in regards to the supply chain. So, what is the retailing supply chain? So first you need to realize that, look at the graphic down here that I have here. As a consumer, you get the finished product or the finished service, but before it gets to you, the product starts as raw materials. So if we're talking about a fashion product, you can just think about thread, fabric, zippers, buttons. So those are the raw materials that are created to become part of a finished product. All right. So, and also in regards to a fashion product, like the biggest part of a fashion product is the fabric. So that raw material, you can think of a natural fiber, like a cotton ball, like the cotton balls that we purchase in the store, is not really like the cotton that's used to produce a product, but similar. All right, so just imagine a cotton ball, and you take the fibers from the ball, you pull it apart, and you twist it, and you twist it and twist it, and it becomes a yarn. And then we knit and weave yarns into fabric. All right, that is what's going to happen at the raw material stage with fabric. And then the fabric moves to the supplier. Now that raw fabric is dyed and finished, with different finishings. And that is all textiles, okay? I got a textiles video on my channel if you want to get a little more insight on that. So anyway, once the fabric gets to the supplier and they dye it the color, that they want to dye it, we're also printing patterns onto this unfinished fabrics. We're adding other chemicals to finish it in different ways. Like we can make the fabric wrinkle resistant with some chemical treatments to it, things like that. Okay, then from the supplier stage, we move to the manufacturing stage. The manufacturer is where the finished product is created, all right? So we take the raw materials, we take the fabric, we take our pattern, and we cut the pattern pieces out and assemble the garment using thread, add our other components, the trims, if it's any buttons, zippers, snaps, buckles, hardware, whatever, it gets added, and then the finished product, all right? And then we package it up, put some hang tags on it, put it on a hanger, all those nice packaging parts. And then it gets moved from the manufacturer to some distribution site. Okay, so just think like a UPS truck, a FedEx truck, a DHL truck. Okay, and it could be ground shipping, could be shipped on a train, it could be shipped using air, or it could be shipped in a shipping container in the ocean, on the water. Okay, and then it gets to the retailers, say factory, okay, or the actual retail establishment, and then it gets to the hand of the consumer. So that is like the supply chain, you know, in a snap. All right, all those pieces. So what has happened because of COVID, what WGSN calls container getting is what happened. So all of these, no, let me step back, I'm sorry. A very, very large percentage of all of the finished products that are sold in the United States, and that's all the products, okay? A spoon, a pot, not just clothes, shoes and handbags, any finished product that we use here in the United States, a very, very large percentage of those products are manufactured in another country, okay? And that is why the industry, the retailing industry, any produced product that exchanges hands from a retailer to a consumer, that's why the industry is so global, because most of the things that we buy here in the United States come from another country. And when we're talking about fashion products, lots of things, lots, a very high percentage come from China, but we also get lots of products produced in India and South Africa. I mean, that's what makes this industry so global. We touch, we touch the commerce. That's not the word I want to use, but it's not coming to me. The economies, that's the word. We touch the economies of so many other countries, you know. All right, so container getting happened because in our supply chain, one of the links was separated, okay? And what link was that? The transportation distribution link. So go back to my original image, raw materials, supplier, manufacturer. Just imagine all those stages of the production of an apparel product happen in China, happen in Sri Lanka, happen in another country. All right, so when they got to the point of distribution in the supply chain, that's where the link separated. Okay, it was a pile up of container ships because so many people were out with COVID or just not there, and no one to process the shipments. Okay, so this is international exchange. You're importing products from another country. There's a long process that products coming into the country has to go through. I mean, it's not like you just ordering something on Amazon, and it's coming from another country and it comes straight to your door. It's not that simple. So the container ships got held up and created this crisis, and which ultimately resulted in a shortage of products. You and I being consumers, not being able to get the products that we want as quickly as possible, or not being there, or the inventory of the product being inconsistent. Where at one point you see it on the shelf and then it's not there, shelves are empty for a period of time, then you see it again, shelves are empty for a period of time. So we saw that on and off constantly, over these 2 years with cleaning products and then just different products. And I mean, when we shop now, I'm sure you don't find things there, every single thing there that you used to see. All right. And you also may observe an increase in price. All right. Because for some of the products, businesses are choosing to take a different distribution route where, shipping it using transportation containers on the water is the cheapest. Well, maybe they've chosen a different route, so the products can get here, but it may have cost them more. And the consumers are seeing, that cost increase. So that's what's happening. Supply chain crisis is not going away like immediately because the problem still exists, because COVID is still here and it's still creating challenges for the retailing industry, for lots of businesses, lots of people. All right. The next retailing trend, the re-emergence of physical stores, shopping, and that makes sense, right? So many of us had all been like cooped up in the house, and you want to get out and just experience life and be outside of the house, right? So WGSN shared that there will be a trend of consumers seeking shopping experiences in a physical store. But that does not mean that there will be like a re-emergence of the mall or anything like that. This physical shopping experience is just that. People are looking for experiences, not just coming, checking out what's on the rack. They want to walk into a space and feel different, see something different, experience something different. And that has to come through the brand, come through the service that they get, and the engagement that they get through the physical person that is there, so a sales associate, and the use of technology, which you will see coming up here shortly in the lesson. It's all about maximizing your resources as a retailer, as a brand. So I have access to technology. How can I use it? How can I use the mobile app? How can I use the website? How can I use virtual reality and kiosks and really maximize what I have access to give my customer the experience that they are looking for, or even the experience that they didn't know could exist, when you step into a store. And it's exciting to know, that the physical store experience that we were used to is really, getting a nudge up, is stepping up. Okay. The next retail trend is the resale boom. So with the resale boom, we see that consumers are really interested in repurposing and reusing and making positive choices that will impact the environment. Okay, so thrift shopping, shopping in donation stores like a Salvation Army or Goodwill, vintage shopping, those are all on the rise. And it's not that it's a new thing. They've always been there. The donation stores have always been there. Thrifting has always been a thing, but WGSN sees in their research that is continuous and ongoing, sees a large increase in resale retailing, where at some point in the future, this will be a normal part of the retailing process. And when I say retailing process, I mean when it's time for a consumer to get rid of a product, they won't throw it in the trash. They won't, dismiss it. They will take it to a thrift store, take it to a vintage shop. And again, that's not a new idea. It's existed for decades, okay? But at some point, it will be part of the retail loop, okay? Where no matter what you buy, no matter where you shop, there will always be an opportunity to return it for resale. All right, is what I'm saying. And we've seen stores like H&M had their whole, campaign about bringing in your gently used items to get a discount, but it'll be part of the evolution of, this whole sustainability of the industry. And I think that's a really positive thing. And it's good to see that more consumers are thinking this way and demonstrating it in their habits, because that's how it will become commonplace when or not everybody, but large percentages of consumers participate in it, right? So shop some vintage stores, you can shop online. You can also consign your own products. There's ThreadUp online that does that. Okay. All right. So the rest of the retailing trends are focused on the use of technology. And if you did not watch my consumer insights video, you should, because everything that I'm discussing here is consistent with who are consuming products today, because everything that happens in the industry is based on the consumer. You're meeting the consumer's needs and the things that they desire and want. And what I'm discussing now is how the retailing industry plans to meet those needs. So I talked about the 3 consumer profiles and what they're looking for. And these strategies align directly with those consumers. All right. So social selling rises. So I talked about live streaming in my consumer insights video and how that is on the rise. And it's all about, like I said, giving your customer an experience beyond what they're typically used to. And it's about engaging them in their environment. So this virtual environment, this social media environment, where is your brand? Where is your product? Where's the retailer? And that's what this social selling on the rise is all about, using live streaming on Facebook and all the other social media platforms to engage your customer. And it's not necessarily about selling a product. It's just about sharing your brand with them, how it can enhance their lives, how it can solve a problem in their lives, how it's being used, who's using it, what the trendy products are, what the newest products are, what sales and promotions the brand is offering. It's just about engaging with your customer, just like you and I go on social media to see who's there. Yes, we see people we know, and a lot of times we see people we don't know, but they're sharing content. And you're just going to see more businesses, more brands sharing content, and also offering opportunities for you to make a purchase as they're sharing content. So again, it's just about stepping up everything that retailing has already done. It's just stepping it up a notch by really allowing technology to bring everything that they're already doing to the forefront. It just enhances everything when you think about it. And that's how I view it. It's an enhancement, because most of the things really everything that is discussed are strategies that businesses have already used. But when you add technology to it, it just elevates it. And that's what it's all about. Elevation. Let's elevate our brands, elevate ourselves, right? Okay. So I saved one of the best topics for last, Metaverse, because this is the buzziest buzzword right now. It's everywhere. And it's along the lines of what I just said, the elevation of what has already existed. This is just the next level of it. So what is the Metaverse? It includes virtual reality, but it's essentially a virtual world. So this is how I explain it. Think about a video game, all right? This excerpt of information here that I'm sharing came from Wired. It's a magazine. So they use Fortnite as the example, but Fortnite is a good example to use. So think about a video game and think about the fact that when you play the video game Fortnite, you can interact with other people that you know, all right, in the video game. And I know this is like so elementary and so basic. If you have ever played the game, you're like, oh, yeah, I already know that, but everyone doesn't. So I'm just making it real simple and clean and clear for anybody to understand. So Fortnite is a video game where you are a character in the game and you're exploring the game. Okay, I'm just gonna keep it real basic, y'all. Exploring the game. While you're playing the game, you can encounter other individuals, real people in the world who are playing the game as well. Okay, and you can interact and engage with them. There's other games like this as well that lots of people like to play. So the metaverse is combining aspects of the digital and physical world. So the digital part is the video game. Okay, that's straightforward. The physical part is you as a person. You can use virtual reality headsets to enter the metaverse now. So this now that what I'm speaking about is what the metaverse is, not a video game. With a video game, you need the console, you need a TV, okay, some other, electronic device. Sometimes you can play TV, a tablet, okay, you got it. With the metaverse, you can wear the virtual reality goggles and enter the game, okay, or enter the metaverse and interact in the metaverse with the virtual reality goggles on and move around in your physical space and see things. Kind of like the image here where the boy has on the goggles, and both the images, they see through the goggles what's happening in that virtual world. And at the same time, they're interacting with that virtual world in the real world because that's what they see with the goggles on. I hope I'm making it clear a little bit, but if not, just Google Metaverse and you'll find some good stuff to read about what it is. Okay, so what is the retailing trend? Metacommerce. So again, going back to my example of the video game. Well, right now with video games, you can buy gift cards. All right. And with the gift cards, you can buy things in the video games, okay, in your Fortnite game, in the other games that people play. All right. So, and what you're buying are things in the game. So just say you had a $10 gift card and I'm buying a new suit for my character to wear in the game. Okay. Everything that you're buying now in the game is virtual. It's part of the game. All right. That's how it is right now. Okay. So how we're going to elevate with the Metacommerce in the metaverse is spend real money in the virtual world to produce something in the virtual world and sometimes produce something in the real world. So instead of using the online mobile app, using a website, going to the physical store, well, now when I'm inside of the metaverse and existing in this virtual world, I can also bring real cash, real money, real credit card, and shop real products in the metaverse to purchase that will actually show up in the real world. So it's like, again, another distribution channel. Like I said, you could shop in a physical store. You can shop online on the retailer's website. You could shop through live streaming on social media. You could shop using your mobile app if the brand has an app. Now, when you go into the metaverse, the virtual world, you can shop at different brands in the metaverse, in this virtual world, and acquire real products, not just stuff in the virtual world. Okay. So I think I really said that pretty clearly. But isn't that exciting? A new distribution channel. Because like I said, you're not just buying virtual stuff that's just going to show up in the virtual world. At some point, retailers and brands are going to have virtual stores in the metaverse that you can virtually shop, but spend real money to get stuff. Like, that's exciting to me. Like, it's an experience. That's what it's about. It's about elevating what already exists to another level. And that another level is this virtual world that, you know, we haven't explored yet. So it's all going to be like a new experience, something exciting, and another opportunity for businesses, for brands, for individuals to exchange products and services. It's all about commerce. And that's why, as you can see in the information that I've shared, WGSN is making predictions about the large amounts of money that will be generated, you know, in this virtual world and the virtual retail spaces that will exist in that virtual world. It's exciting. All right. So thanks for tuning in to this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. I will be back again with more lessons. Check out my channel, what's already there. See you the next time. Bye.